So if I'm going to live on cruise ships full time, right, for years, what happens at the end of each cruise? Like, I don't necessarily want to do the cruises that are like at this point like designed for people that want to live full time on cruise ships. I have looked over the itineraries and the setup, and I'm really not a fan of it. I don't necessarily know if that will set me up for the kind of life seeing world planning that I have in mind. So if that's not the case, if it's going to be my thing to like just schedule cruises, different cabins probably on different cruise lines, and different cruise ships, how exactly am I going to make that happen? Hello, my name is Talethea, and I am hoping that you all will come along with me as I work and plan and research and execute my intent to go from working from home full time to living on board cruise ships while also working full time. So let's do it. I'm actually at the point now where I'm at the figuring out the logistics of this, like now, right? Cruises are actually available on the different cruise line itineraries as far as like 18 months, 2 years out. So I'm working on the logistics because I've been trying to figure this thing out, like as far as like how exactly I'll be able to do that. Not just the fun part of cruising, right? Like if I'm going to be out for a year, like where exactly will I be going? And the more I've researched it, the more I've realized that there are actually, well, two ways that I can identify myself for how this will work. And the second one might completely change what I had in mind when I was thinking about like working out my life so that I was living and working full time on cruise ships. Once it was clear that I knew I wanted to live full time on cruise ships, what I had in mind was just booking the different cruises back to back, right? So you just go from one cruise, like say for 7 days, 14 days, 21 days. And then when that was over, either go on a back to back cruise where you stay on the same ship, or you start the next booking, which is on whatever other cruise ship or cruise line or cabin that you need to move into. That's kind of what I had in mind. So that kind of makes sense, right? You go from cruise cabin to cruise cabin and like just move along as the different cruises end, which from what I understand, the other people that are currently living this lifestyle, that's what they do. But then I started wondering, like, a huge part of living full time on cruise ships for me is I actually want to see the world, right? And the thing with cruises is, I mean, you stop and you port, you go to different locations, and the ship will dock and you stay there for a couple hours or, for a day or so. But it's actually my intention to see the world. Like, I actually want to see a good amount of these other countries. In fact, I'm hoping to book specific cruises that will go to the different countries that I'm interested in visiting. So, how could I actually coordinate all that? So I started looking at exactly how I could realistically build a schedule where either the cruises leave out and go back exactly to the same dock, the same port that I'm looking for the next cruise, right? Or if, like, depending on the destination of the cruise, if that might be one of the places where I get off the cruise ship, say in Switzerland or any of the other awesome places I want to go visit, right? Like Thailand. And then, like, for that next month or so, just plan to stay in Thailand. You know what I mean? So how exactly is that coordinated? Like, how exactly are we going to do that? And this is one of the first things that surprised me about that. But it was also really encouraging. So the simple answer is yes, that's exactly what I can do. With enough planning, I can go from cruise to cruise and from location to location. And then if I decide like I want to go and stay somewhere for a month or 2 or 3 or whatever, or even just a couple of weeks, I could actually plan my entire cruise life around doing just that. You coordinate the dates, the ports, and seeing how well all that stuff could work together was actually really encouraging. Suddenly this whole thing, it didn't feel like a crazy idea, but suddenly it was just kind of nice to see like the next step of this whole plan that I kind of had in mind. You know what I mean? This is going to work. And then I realized, I mean, honestly, there's even a easier version, like a simpler version for what I'm trying to do. Back-to-back cruises, when you have booked back-to-back cruises on the same cruise line, like on the same ship, Oftentimes, depending on where they're coming from, now apparently all of the American ports, you actually have to like get off the ship and go through the like disembark and re-embark like back onto the ship so they can monitor who's all on there, which is fine. But for like most other countries, like European countries, if you have back-to-back cruises booked, you don't even have to get off the ship. Now, you may not always be able to keep the same cabin, which makes sense, right? Depending on when you book, someone else may have chosen the cabin that you're in already, unless I get it when I do the original booking. But if that's not the case, if I do have to go to a different cabin, management, like the cruise staff, will actually take all my stuff and move it to the other cabin for me, as a part of the service and for having back-to-back cruises. So y'all, that is so encouraging to kind of know. For some destinations, I know for certain I want to go and I want to spend some time there, right? For other times, I'm really just happy being on the cruise ship and traveling the world and being able to enjoy the amenities on the ship. So if for those cruises, for the trips when my goal is to just enjoy the ship and enjoy the amenities, and I'm not really interested in the destination, I could honestly, realistically stay on board the same ship for months. You know what I mean? Or even longer, just depending on, because the ships are going to keep moving. I could just stay on that one. If that's my goal, right? Or I can choose to go to a different one. Either way, learning about the different alternatives that are available as far as like how I'm actually going, like where I'm going to stay and how I'm going to execute that. It has just been so encouraging to see just the next step to my plan and how well I'm going to be able to work it out. So once I did a little more research about like the whole back-to-back cruise process, it's like, okay, I get it. So that's how the folks that are out there living their best life, enjoying their cruise life, and have been doing it for years, that's how they do it. They book the consecutive cruises if they want to, right? This is all depending on the price I can get, the different specials that I'll be using, and just the other logistics that are a part of it. But it's nice to know that when it comes down to it, the whole idea of being able to book like the cruises consecutively, maybe staying on the same ship or even switching the ship, switching to a different ship, that it not only is it possible, but it's being done, and it's being done successfully. So that is a part of my plan. So I kind of mentioned it a little bit, but another huge part of my intention to go and live and work full time from cruise ships is I do want to do what folks are calling slow travel. So what that is if I find myself, say, like I mentioned, in one of the countries that I want to go and like really just enjoy and look around and get to know a little bit more, all I have to do is, instead of booking a cruise for that month or two or week or two or however much time I want to spend in that country, I can just book an Airbnb or use points to stay at a hotel or like get a short-term rental. But y'all, this whole thing it's not only possible, but it's being done, and it just takes takes something that initially I was thinking about as like a dream, right? It was a goal. It was something that I knew I would figure out and execute on. And it just makes it altogether attainable, like completely like doable, which is so exciting for me to kind of see and learn about in real time. Do y'all ever think about going to visit in other countries? Like, I have a lot, you know what I mean? And I know with this whole cruise ship thing, one of the things I kept hearing just from other people when I was talking about going to see the world, and they're like, well, how much of the world are you going to see if the cruise only stays on that port for like a couple hours, right? Or for a day. But I know what I want out of this. I want to be able to go and see neighborhoods. I want to try new foods. I want to get to know other cultures that I may have heard things about in theory. But I want to see them for myself. You know what I mean? I want to learn how people actually live. I want to be able to go and meander for a little bit and just get to know the area and understand the lifestyle. So I'm really excited about that thing. I really kind of want to experience as much as like everyday life for a little bit, as long as I can, for the different areas that I'm interested in. And who knows, as I travel and make friends and get to know people and like go to other new destinations, I may want to go visit those places for a little while. So this whole working and living full time from cruise ships thing, I'm Either way, in my opinion, it's really a perfect opportunity for me and for y'all, if you are interested in going and seeing the world at all, to kind of go and do it from cruise ships. Just use the ships to kind of get you there and enjoying the great experience of getting there and then getting out and going and getting to know the different cultures and the different areas that I'm interested in. So I'm really excited about that. So with that in mind, it's my intent to make sure that like some of these gaps between the cruises, like when I get to different destinations, they won't just be like gaps that just happen. They will be like my intentional like plan to go and visit these different countries, get off the cruise ship for a little while and go hang out there. So that is also a really exciting part about this whole plan that I have to go and work and live full time on cruise ships, y'all. I'm going to make these gaps the destination. So I'll have version 1 of seeing the world where I am on the cruise ship and I go from port to port to port. I'm doing the back-to-back cruise thing, or I go from port to ship to plane, right, to maybe a hotel stay overnight, a couple days, back to another cruise ship, and they're just like ongoing. So that's like version 1. Okay, version 2 is like I'll go from cruise ship to the port to an Airbnb, where I'll go and spend a month or so in Thailand or New Zealand or any of the very many long list of places that I have that I want to go and visit. So you get off, you stay a while, experience the country a little bit, you know what I mean? And just kind of see what I think, all while working remotely, like all while still being able to do like my job and maintain the things with my businesses and just stay in touch with the different things that I'm working on now. Then when that time is over, so whether it's been a month or a couple weeks or whatever, just get back on board another ship, board my next booked cruise, and then go to the next place that I want to go to. When I first started this thing, my thing was like, what will I do with the gaps in between the cruises, right? Or will there be gaps? Will I get off one ship at one port and get on another ship at another port? Will I need to get off one ship and fly to another part of the country to catch another ship at another port? Like, how will I do that? But now my thing is, okay, if I can purposely schedule it so that my cruises end or like go to the destinations that I want to visit and hang out in for a little while, that's a different experience altogether, right? So now the thing is, what gaps do I want? Right? Where do I want this cruise to end so I can go and explore that area for a little while? It's a different experience. That makes sense? So my cruise ship experience, right? At this point, we'd already established that it's not just a vacation, right? It's a lifestyle. It's where I live for better or for worse. It'll be where I live. It'll be where I work. But it'll also be my transportation just between different regions and like part of how I move around the world and go see the different areas that I want to visit. Slow travel is a part of that plan. And I can see like clearly how well cruise ships will be able to be worked into my goal to be able to go and see other places and explore while also enjoying the benefits of being on cruise ships. So I'm going from a cruise vacation to a lifestyle design, completely different experience. So that knowledge, right, that understanding did lead to more questions because once you answer certain questions and are able to see the steps and kind of get a little more information for the next thing that you're planning to do, new questions arise. It's what they do for me. So if I am slow traveling internationally, I need to find out, like, how long can I stay? What are the visa requirements, right? Can I legally work there remotely, right? Do all countries just let you come in and set up your computer and just work there? I mean, when you're there for, I don't know, any amount of time, whatever amount of time that I'm planning to be there matter, right? Can I go and stay for a few months and work remotely just fine? Do I need to go and, stay for 3 or 4 days and get a different kind of visa? Like, those are all things that I'll need to figure out. Health insurance, my mail, right? My phone service. I know the current provider that I have does have like an international plan when it comes to like cruising and travel. Do I just keep that joker on every day, all in perpetuity? Like, it's realistic, right? That might be something that I'll just have to work into my budget for slow traveling, right? I guess if in these situations, instead of spending the money on my next cruise trip, I would just be using it for the Airbnb or the hotel where I'll be staying. All questions, all things that need to be figured out, but still all figure outable, right? So Once I started figuring that out, y'all, it just dawned on me. The whole where I'm staying between cruises isn't a problem that needs to be solved. It's actually an opportunity. There are things and places that I want to go and see. So I am so looking forward to being able to go and do that now that I've kind of decided to make this whole transition in my lifestyle. Now, there might not be any additional planning, right? I could just do the back-to-back cruising thing and just keep it going, enjoying the water, enjoying the experience of being on the cruise ship. Or, right, I can go and see all those little places that I've been telling myself I want to go see all this time throughout all my life. Well, most of my life. Just by leaving like weeks or time in between the time when I book the next cruise to go and explore and see the areas that I've been thinking about. I'm not trying to fit as many cruises into the year as I possibly can. That's not my goal. I'm trying to design the life that I want to live that includes going and seeing the different areas that I want to see and going and experiencing the different cultures that I've been interested in. I am purposely trying to just design a life, the life that I want to live while working remotely. Now is the time that I'm working on just building out, like looking for the actual cruises and building out how my lifestyle will look like over the first year that I'm intending to live on cruise ships. I'm going to actually map it out. Now, Miss Linnell does have a course. I talk about her all the time, The Poverty to Paradise. She just launched it. So if this is interesting to you at all, y'all, go find her. She has just launched a course. People kept asking her, how's she doing it? How are you booking it? How are you going to different places? How are you making this thing happen? And so she finally realized that it was probably time for her to tell everybody. And so she figured out a way to be able to do that. So it can be done. You can do that. Or in addition to that, another option is just looking at the different itineraries and working to figure it out on my own as well. Like those are both options. We'll see how it goes. I intend to take her course. I'm going to map it out. Okay, the back-to-back cruises, just looking at the different slow travel destinations that I have in mind, the cruise lines that are going that way, like I'm gonna hitch a ride on a cruise ship to go and visit the different countries that I want to see, flights, transportation, work hour, like my actual work schedule still, the back-to-back cruises, the different destinations that I'm interested in, the hotels, the Airbnb, the finances, right, the money and how I work that, how my budget is going to meet those needs. And just actually building a plan that has me moving securely for the first year or so that I am intending to work and live full time on cruise ships. I don't have all the answers yet, but I'm going to figure it out. And I'm going to take y'all along with me. Do y'all have any questions? So if you want to watch and come along as I figure this whole jam out and just go through the motions of building the life and living the life that I want while living and working full time on cruise ships, be sure to subscribe, like, and follow. Keep up, y'all. Or do you have any suggestions for like different places that I could like stay or different places that I might want to look into while I'm traveling? Any countries that you visited that you would definitely want to go back to? And you want to see those countries and you had such a good time that you would recommend anybody go and visit there. Tell us about those. Share those in the comments too. Y'all have a good day and take care.